Now that we're in the same boat, let me fill you in on what we're getting into before we dive in. The Corte Savante is a mysterious scientific research organization. They're best known for their research in automata mechanics. But one day, a daring young scientist soared into the sky and never returned. Could this be the beginning of another diabolical plot?
Alto, why are you telling bedtime stories now? Is it time to sleep already?
Ahem. My bad. Old habits die hard. But the big part is coming right up. One day, out of the blue, every single Corte Savante member vanished. The last words from that mysterious researcher, the Corte Savante Committee's chairman, was this. Ahem. You want my research? You can have it! I left everything I gathered in the Corte Savante's labs. Now, you'll just have to find it. What do you think, Rover? Aren't you curious?
Judging by its design and intricate details, it must be a creation of the Court of Savante. This is what they call a chronosorter. It mimics the Sentinel's temporal mandate, able to reverse small-scale events and restore objects to their previous state. My master once told me about the Court of Savante and their fearless quest to unravel the mysteries of Mount Firmament, risking all in their pursuit of understanding its strange flow of time. Their dedication bore fruit in the form of fascinating inventions, such as this chronosorter. The Court of Savante create such an advanced mechanism using the Sentinel's power. Mortals aren't supposed to be able to comprehend it. I've never heard of any human civilization having the ability to manipulate time. Unless the Sentinel willingly taught them. But why? The Sentinel's situation is worse than we thought. It had already sustained severe injuries when it descended upon Mount Firmament. With one of the temporal programs lost, it no longer had the power to restore time. Instead, it could only stop and rewind it.
So the Sentinel protected Hongjin with its power, but it couldn't return things back to normal.
It would seem so. According to their theories, the Sentinel's injury would worsen over time, and if the Sentinel perishes, the temporal disruptions will spiral out of control, engulfing all of Jinzhou. So the Fraxidus just added a pinch of salt to the already gaping wounds on Mount Firmament. There's nothing we can do. At least that's what it says in these records. Only the Mianlong Chamber can provide temporary relief for the Sentinel, but it won't heal it completely. In the end, the Sentinel and a peculiar visitor who is immune to time disruptions would have to come up with a last resort. The Sentinel couldn't be fixed, so they decided to replicate its power onto a resonator through induced resonance. Their experiments resulted in the first chronosorter, a man-made resonance object. No. A chronosorter can only rewind time within a narrow range. It's no match for the Sentinel's immense power. We are getting closer and closer to the truth.
Retroact rain is essentially a form of condensed remnant energy from the etheric sea. Various events across space and time from every dimension are recorded in the form of remnant energy. The retroact rain conjures illusions of past events for those exposed to it.
The experiments have been going smoothly, but we still can't get the desired outcome. Why? The artificial retroactive rain project has advanced to its second phase. We have various evidence that this ancient civilization was the whining Ix's Maya at some point. We have no time left. The artificial controllable tacit field should be complete by now. We'll have to rely on our backup plan. Fraxidus Overseer has been really generous with his sponsorship. It would have taken us much longer to build this place without him. Though he loves to meddle with our experiments a bit too much. Well, he's our patron. Can't do anything about that. This lab's location is a bit too remote for me, but I'm okay with it as long as we can keep doing our research.
Yeah. Where else could us maniacs possibly go?
The committee kicked us out like trash. They'll never understand. As Professor Hysen stated, we are embarking on a monumental endeavor with the power to redefine humanity's future. This time, we will make the divine miracle we saw happen again for all of humanity to behold. How's Subject A038 doing lately?
It has yet to assume a concrete form or exhibit vocalization behavior. In most cases, it remains motionless. However, we noticed some behavioral discrepancies from our initial expectations, and further observation and research would be necessary.
It's merely a replica after all. It's far from the true form of those gods. By the way, things have been mysteriously disappearing lately. Any idea?
You noticed it too. Thought I was imagining things. And there's weird noises at the lab late at night. I suspect it is something to do with Subject A038. Lately, its frequencies have always displayed signs of hunger. But it's been under strict surveillance. That couldn't possibly be A038, right?
I'll go check the security cameras once more. Let's increase its rations. We can't afford to let it go hungry. After all, it's our last hope now.
But why did they keep that big guy here?
According to our findings earlier, researchers who worked here were probably only a small faction of the Corte Savante Committee. They were likely studying an ancient civilization they deemed to be divine beings, but later got denounced from the CSC due to their extreme methods. Somehow, they believed this ancient civilization had once visited the mire. which led to their attempts at recreating those past events with artificial retroact rain. And when they failed to recreate the retroact rain, they resorted to making a replica of the lost civilization instead. To get their desired results faster, they started feeding this replica various frequencies, data sets, and mechanical constructs. And we've seen what that ended up with. It turned into a monster, driven by the frequencies of hunger, devouring everything in its path. It was probably the culprit behind the disappearance of those folks. And I suspect the Fraxidus Overseer mentioned in that log may have something to do with it all. Those researchers, they were too obsessed with validating the divine miracle they experienced. They eventually got lured into the monster's frequencies of hunger and willingly walked into its maw. The monster devoured them, but not with its teeth. Their own delusions and fear were their undoing in the end. What a crazy bunch.